Alright guys, what's up? Today's a different type of video. There's not a lot of football, or there's no football or working out or any of that stuff in this video. It's just gonna be me talking. You know, I'm on the airport right now, about to go home, and I'm on my first flight. So right now I went to Curitiba, and then in an hour or so I'm gonna go to Sao Paulo. And then after that, Panama, and then Canada. And I have no idea if my AirPods are working for the mic, but I think I'm speaking loud enough for you guys to hear, and if anything I'll fix the audio. But yeah, it's just me talking right now in this vlog, or I don't even know what to call it, but I hope you guys enjoy it. You know, you guys don't really have to look at the screen too much. You can just have it play in the background and just listen. But yeah, I just want to talk about a couple things, because right now I'm going home after a long, you know, journey here in Brazil and Uruguay and this whole past year. And I wanted to break this video up into sections. You know, I have 3 trips, so I'll have 3 opportunities to talk in the airport. And so right now I want to get on the topic of the beauty of airports. I have no idea what it is, but for me, I love the airport, you know, especially going home. I just love seeing different types of people, and you know, everyone just doing their own business. It's like that word Sonder, you know, everybody is in their own complex life. You know, anybody walking by has their own complexities as your own. And I feel like that's always something so cool to think about. And you know, in the airport, like, you see like hundreds, bare people, but you see a lot of people walking by, back and forth, going on their flights, and you may never know if you're ever gonna see them again. Most likely not. And it's just cool to think that like these people, they all have their own problems, their own families, their own things that they have to worry about, things that they're happy about, little guilty desires or pleasures, or just everything that you have, everybody else also has. Well, it's like, you know, I'm alone, you know, I'm traveling alone, as probably a lot of you guys have done before. It's just different. When you're traveling with other people, there's time to pass, there's people to talk to. But when you're alone, it's just like you're more involved with what's going on around you, or for me at least, you know, there's no distraction, so I'm just people watching, observing what people are doing, and you know, maybe even like picking up a conversation with somebody else. And it's just like a funny thing. I really love it. I just really love airports. I think it's a very, I don't know, I always have like a weird feeling in my stomach. I just think it's a very beautiful concept, airport. You know, just a bunch of strangers going to different places of the world, and that you guys happen to be in the same place passing by. You know, it's a little crazy to think about for me. You know, going back to Canada, but I could run into someone going back to China. You know, and I don't know if I could be just talking out of my ass, but at the same time, this is something I always think about, and it's always so interesting for me. But yeah, so that's a little spiel about what I think, why airports are so interesting. I'm gonna go catch my flight right now, and I'll see you guys in Sao Paulo. Alright guys, so it's currently 1 a.m. I'm in Sao Paulo, Brazil. I got here 3 hours ago as well, so I have a lot of time. But the second section of this segment of this video, I'm gonna call Change. And I wanted to talk about this because this is like my second time in this airport. But like compared to Panama and the airport in Curitiba, even the airport in Toronto, you know, even when I was in Uruguay, like every time I went, it was like a different time span. After maybe 6 months or 10 months or 3 months, like there's always like a significant amount of time of me at this airport, going to a place and then returning back to the airport. And I feel like a lot has changed for me, appearance-wise, personality-wise, everything, how I look, how I act, what I believe, how I talk, everything. Like, we're all growing, we're all evolving. But like every single time I end up in the airport, I end up reflecting. Like, I was here 3 months, 6 months ago, and look who I am now. Like, I don't even like recognize who I was at that time, which is may sound over exaggerated, but it's true. You know, like so much happens in that time. And I remember the first time I went to Uruguay, you know, the first time I really had to stay away from home for like a long period. Like, I had these certain beliefs and these expectations and who I was, and you know who I thought I was. and what I believed in and how I acted, how I reacted, like comparing that to like who I was the last time I left Uruguay, it was like, it's completely different. And it's like, really, you may not recognize it in yourself, but like the evolution that you have within yourself is like spectacular, bro. You know, every single time I arrived at the airport, there was always something, like maybe like there was always something, there was always an uncertainty about the future. And I feel like other people can relate on that too. I mean, watching other people go onto the planes and go on to their lives in different places, like who knows, like they could be going to that place for the first time, trying to start their own life. When I was leaving Uruguay, like I thought I was gonna go back, you know, like, but then like so much things happen, and then now I end up here in Brazil. So it's like us as humans, we have to welcome this change, because I feel like I'm always saying this, but I can't even like express it enough, and I still have so much to learn. But there's so many things that we don't understand why it's happening right now to us, and it may be like the best thing or the worst thing. But like in the present moment, like this moment of not understanding why will always like reveal itself later on. And I'm convinced, like for example, I go to an airport and I talk to someone there, I tell them what's going on with my life, I tell them everything about me. I leave, I do my thing, I go to Brazil, I experience all that I experienced, I return back to the airport and I talk to that same person. I feel like that person is not gonna, they just will be like, wow, like you've learned this and that, you went through this and that, you've changed this and that. And I think it's like a very crazy thing and a very important thing. Everything is always subject to change. Every single second, every single millisecond, every single minute, there's always something that could come up that us humans have to adapt to. Here now in Panama, my last stop before Canada, and yeah, it's been a long flight. I'm super tired, but I wanted to end off this video with this last third section, and this section is just about a self-reflection about myself and about you guys too. I mean, it's December now. I feel like everybody's reaching the end of the year point, and it's a time to reflect on how we did this year, what we did. Did we follow through with our goals? Did we change in any way? What did we learn? All of these type of stuff. For me, I can speak for myself, like this year was definitely something different, like probably the most eventful year. A quick rundown, a quick summary of what happened this year. So I went back to Uruguay on the 1st of February or the end of January, and then I trialed with the team there for 2 weeks, and then I trialed with the professional team there in the 2nd division of Uruguay for 2 weeks. And stuff happened, I didn't make it through, and then I went back to my old team, Danubio, trained there for like 2-3 weeks. I wasn't getting the playing time once again, just getting rostered, just getting put on the bench. So I left Danubio as well. I talked to my friend who was an agent who had a connection at Rio Branco right now, and it was a team in Brazil. And at the time I was like, oh, a team in Brazil, like I don't know about this one, like it's a little far, and you know my prejudice in my mind was thinking that Brazil is a very dangerous place. But I said, whatever, F it, I'll do it anyways. So I went to Brazil on, on a slight impulse, but I didn't think about it a lot, and I thought that was the best decision for me at the time. And it ended up way better than what I expected. So I went to Brazil, got some playing time, met a lot of good people, really like enjoyed that country a lot. Went back to Canada, went back to Brazil because I had no other opportunity. And Brazil was also a really good opportunity still. And I went back, finished off the season, became champions. And it's like, wow, like this 2023 was something really different. I've learned a lot of things this year, but I wanted to break it down to 3 points. And the first point, not in order of importance, but first point for me was not getting too high on my highs and too low on my lows. I've said this before in previous videos, but life is a roller coaster of emotions, and you can't control how you feel. You can never control how you feel. You know, like, if you're mad, you're mad. If you're sad, you're sad. If you're happy, you're happy. Like, you can't control your feelings, but you can control how you react. And if you're on this roller coaster of this adventure we call life, you have to be prepared, and you have to be prepared not to be prepared. because there's a lot of things that's gonna come your way that you don't expect. But the only thing that you do have in control is what you do next. And I've had so many days where one day I felt like I was on top of the world, and then the next day I felt like, yo, I'm just gonna go home. There was a lot of times like this, but it's always what you do next. You always gotta focus on the next step, and you can't let your feelings get the best of you. I remember playing my first game here. I had a pretty decent game, and we won. And it was the first game of the season, and everybody was stoked. The next 2 weeks, we had another game. We lost bad. And it's like that moment that you felt high, and then the next day it's like low. It's like you never know like what God has planned for you. Like you just gotta ride it through, and you just gotta make the right decisions, or you gotta make whatever decision will suit you best. Another thing I learned is that no matter what you do, no matter if it's good, if it's bad, if it's crazy, people will always judge you. Look at me, I'm here in the airport right now talking to a camera, and people are looking at me probably thinking like I'm crazy. And I probably am, but at the same time, bro, I could be saving the world and people would still find something to talk about. Whether it's bad or it's good, people will talk about you. So you only got one life to live, and if you're gonna spend it scared or worried about what people's opinions are about you, then you're not living your life, because this is what I want to do. I never ever this year, in the beginning of the year, ever thought about doing YouTube until halfway through of 2023. And look at me now, I'm loving it, I'm enjoying it. And you know what was stopping me before? It was like, I'm not ready, I'm gonna wait till I do this, do that. Like, I don't know, I feel like a little weird putting myself out there. Bro, thinking about it now, man, like, we don't have a long life to live. Our life is short. You gotta make the most of it. Take a chance, take a risk, and I took that. And like, I took that going to Brazil. I took that trying to choose football as a career. I took that starting my YouTube. I took that right now, taking a video in front of people, just watching me. You gotta take risks in your life, because if you always play it safe, if you always play it in the comfort zone, that's where your dreams die. Do what you want, because I'm telling you right now, you could be doing something that's beneficial for the world, that's beneficial for your family, that's beneficial for your friends, for yourself. But somebody or someone will always find something to talk about negative about you. So it's always, you're never gonna please everybody. It's impossible. If you're a friend of all, then you're not a friend to yourself. You know, you gotta be real to yourself, you gotta stay true to yourself, you gotta do what you wanna do. And the third thing I learned is that I've always knew this, but it wasn't until this year where I really felt it, was gratitude. Because, you know, I was complaining a lot last year about things that weren't going my way. That I'm not getting playing time, I'm not getting this. Now I'm here in Brazil, and then there's a time where I get taken off the field, or I complain about last year about where I was living, and then compared to where I was in Brazil, it's like, and then it's like, yo, like I would wish, you know, I can't believe I was complaining about that stuff last year. Like, just be grateful, be happy. And in that moment where it really soaked in was like when I arrived here, and I've seen like Brazil's a very big country. And I'll be honest, there's a lot of people who don't have the wealth that people in North America or other countries do. But they smile every day, they laugh, they dance, they sing, they praise God, they're grateful for what they have. Even if it's not even a lot, they're grateful. And me seeing this firsthand, it's like, wow, like even people from my country, the Philippines, I know that they did the same thing too. So just like being grateful for whatever happens, whether you think something bad is happening to you, be grateful for it, because you never know what that's gonna lead to in the future. And you know, also being away from my family and realizing how much support that they gave me, like that was a different type of gratitude that I had towards them. The gratitude I had towards God, who really helped push me and direct me along his path throughout towards Christ, was something extremely different for me too. Difficult, but extremely worth it. And I was grateful for every single thing, every single time I was set back, every single time I was praised well, or every single time I behaved well, or I felt good about myself, you know? Like, you gotta be grateful for what comes, because not everything that comes is gonna be good. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't show thanks towards it. So yeah, to kick off this self-reflection video, do what you wanna do. You know, F people's opinions, do what you wanna do. Be thankful in what you do it well, do it hard, and just enjoy the ride. Enjoy this roller coaster of life. And you know, yeah, step out of your comfort zone. I'm prepared for whatever comes next. I hope that's true, because I have no idea what life has in store for us, but everything that is thrown at us, we've all gone through it. So I'll see you guys.